everybody, it's Peter Doyle here, Precision Fit Golf. Hope you're all keeping well. Nearly into March, so now it's almost about time to take to the course. I know it's still a bit soft in some places, but like I said, the next few weeks things should be starting to improve and we'll be able to get out and play. The first thing I want to talk about is this comes up the question every year, and the thing is, it's about what flex should I use when it comes to buying a golf shaft. Okay, and the one thing I would say to you is that you're obviously you probably have an affinity for a particular brand. There's maybe some particular brand that you like, and you see a particular pro, and you think you want to be associated with that brand. You want to use that brand. Okay, regardless of whatever club head you go for, guys. The one thing that you should look at more than anything when it comes to choosing the brand that you want to go for, it's the golf shaft, which is the engine of the golf club. Okay, and this is obviously going to be new for people who are only after taking up the game for the first time. But the thing is, the golf shaft is what's going to give you the most ability to be able to utilize that club head in the most effective way possible. Okay, um, I've got three shafts in my hand here from three different manufacturers. Okay, or sorry, two different manufacturers. So one is a well-known brand which features widely on tour, used by a lot of tour professionals. To handle that particular manufacturer in recent years, they've come to recognize that not all club golfers can use that particular brand. So they brought out versions of their products which are a bit more user friendly. Okay, so slightly softer, slightly lighter, but still giving an awful lot of stability and helps the golfer to create plenty of club head speed and plenty of control without exerting your body. Okay, that's what I suppose I'd say there. The third shaft in the group is actually a Japanese manufacturer. And for anyone that knows anything about the Japanese golf shaft industry, it is typically geared towards slightly smaller golfers, because if you think about the Japanese as a population, and I say this with the greatest respect, slightly wouldn't be tall like a lot of Western golfers. Athletic build, maybe a little bit, maybe a few stone lighter. Okay, for that reason, they make golf shafts which are a little bit lighter. Okay, what's interesting to know about three shafts that I have in front of me, guys, is that they're all labeled as stiff flex. Okay, so if you were a stronger golfer and you walked in and got fitted, they'd say to you that, oh yeah, you need stiff flex because you're a stronger player now. You should be using something that's stiff, right? On the flip side, if you're a beginner, they'll say, you probably need regular shafts. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make about the industry in terms of shafts is that there is no standard, guys. They all do it differently. And each of these three shafts are playing different in flex to the other. So if you think that all stiff shafts or all regular shafts are all the same, it's not actually the case, okay? All three of these shafts, starting with the Japanese one, the flex is as light as something in the region of about maybe 213 cycles per minute. And what CPM or cycles per minute actually is just how a measure of how flexible the golf shaft is. How do you measure that? You need a professional club maker or someone who has a piece of equipment like that, and they can determine how soft or how stiff the shaft actually is. Okay. The second shaft in the sequence is the one which is a bit more sort of geared towards a recreational golfer, is coming in somewhere between 220 and 230 cycles per minute. That shaft, even though it says stiff flex, is actually playing somewhere between senior, which is for older players, and regular flex. All right, once again, it's labeled as stiff, but it's not stiff. Okay, it's actually playing slightly softer. Third shaft, which is the one that features on tour, that is actually playing true to stiff flex. That's maybe somewhere over close to 230 or 240 cycles per minute. And what you do is you plot that number versus the length of the club. So in this case, we're mentioning the driver because obviously it's the club we all like to hit the most, right? But the driver, like I said, in this case, 230 to 240 at 45-inch length is actually playing stiff flex. So that is true to flex. All of those shafts, guys, all require a particular level of speed. So even though they're labeled as stiff and you think they're for the better golfer, these shafts are all playing from ladies flex right up to the stiff flex. And I suppose once you get through the minefield of choosing the right golf shaft for your game, guys, you're then faced with the solution. And what happens then? Okay, I've picked the golf shaft now. Am I going to go out and I'm going to utilize that club effectively? 99% of the time, guys, you're probably not. And the reason is because it has to be assembled in such a correct manner to help you hit the middle of the club face. What's interesting to know, if you ever watch a professional golf event, and more importantly, if you ever watch pros at the range at a golf event using their drivers, you will never see them changing the settings on their driver. You'll never see them take the torque wrench out and change the adapter. And that's something I'm going to talk to you about in the next video. I'm going to show you for all you beginners who are new to the game, and you're going to understand why. Why do pros hit the ball as well as they do? And we're going to talk about that a bit more because that has a lot to do with professional club making, and there's a lot to do with how well the shaft and the club head are assembled. Okay, so what I would say is if you're going in to buy a golf shaft or you're going in to buy a club, guys, look at the shaft. It's important. And when you do look at the golf shaft, based on the fitting data, what I would say to you is you make sure that you check these three things, right? You check number one, check your spin rate. If your spin rate is not between 2 and 2,500, which is not bad for Irish conditions, I might add, If your spin is pushing over 3,500, 4,500, in some cases up as far as 5,000, you will come to discover that your ball is spinning too much. And when it's spinning too much, it means it's not going through the air. The other issue with having too much spin is if you hit the ball with a club face that is open with spin that is excessive, your ball will curve violently out to the right, or it may even hook to the left. Okay. The second thing I would say to you as a driver, if you're using the wrong shaft, you will either launch the ball too low because it's too stiff, or you launch the ball too high. But then again, that would be apparent with regards to the spin rate. Okay. And the third thing I would say about using the right shaft, guys, is that everyone will have a shaft that will be optimum to them in terms of weight. You will find a shaft that is not too heavy and not too light, and it will give you an unrivaled level of consistency. It will give you an ability to square the club face very, very easily. Okay. And they are the three things you need to watch for. But once again, as I'm saying, as a professional club maker, once you actually find a shaft that is more suited to your game, if you're looking at decent data, launch, spin, face angle, etc., it's important, guys, that you get someone who knows how to put that club together, because then you're into the realm of using clubs that are built to a professional standard, giving you an enhanced level of forgiveness, giving you increased distance off the tee, and giving much more accuracy. Okay, and the point I make is that if touring pros get their clubs built to that standard, then I can assure you a recreational golfer needs that level of forgiveness more than anyone. And I'm going to show you that in the next video why you have to get a shaft and the club head built together correctly. Okay. Any questions, please reach out to us at peter@precisefitting.com. Usually contact us. Any telephone numbers are listed on the website as well. And once again, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you in the weeks ahead. Okay, take care. Bye bye.